Welcome to Sports Car Market Buy, Sell, Hold. I'm Keith Martin, the publisher of Sports Car Market, and today we have for you a market alert. Joining me on today's Buy, Sell, Hold is Corvette expert and good friend Michael Pierce. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Keith. Thank you for the invitation.
Michael was a writer for us when we had Corvette Market Magazine, and he's introduced me to facets of the Corvette world like Bloomington Gold and the NCRS. Michael, how long have you owned Corvettes?
40 years, Keith. I've had it for 40 years.
And how many do you think you've owned over those years?
Probably about a dozen, mostly mid-year Corvettes, although I've owned a couple of...
And what's your status as an NCRS judge?
I'm a level 4 master judge. They stopped counting at 400 points, but I think I've accumulated a couple hundred more, at least 100 more after that. I've done judging at every level, from regional, chapter, national, and some specialized judging within the system.
Well, Michael, the reason I asked you to be on our Buy, Sell, Hold today was on Bring a Trailer, a 1969 Corvette just sold for $610,000. Did that price surprise you?
No, it didn't, actually. I was hoping there was more money in there, but it's a fair price for the car. That's an extraordinary car. It's got tremendous provenance, documentation, history. It's got great awards. It's got the important stuff that's been verified by the experts from Bloomington and NCRS.
So let's back up, Michael. The one thing I forgot to mention is that it's an L88. That makes a difference, doesn't it?
Well, that's where the money comes from, Keith. You're exactly right. The L88 option, RPO L88 option, was first available to the public when they went to buy cars in 1967 and with the Corvette. And they made 20 of those motors out of 22,940 cars. The option was about $950 on a car that was $4,200.
So, Michael, let's talk for a second. You know, the C3 Corvette, which is what this is, the Shark Corvette, is not nearly as desirable a car as the Stingray or C2. Does that same difference in value carry over between a C2 L88 and a C3 L88?
They didn't really make a C3 L88. They made the L88 available in Corvette in 67, 20 of them. In 68, they made 80 of them. And in 69, they made 116. And that was it.
So you said this car, you thought it might bring more. What made you say that?
Because it's a black coupe, because the people who have verified the originality of the car, it's been through the Bloomington Gold process, it's been through the NCRS process, it's been through the muscle car. It's gotten every reasonable award judged by people who know what they're looking at.
What's the most you've seen a C3 L88 sell for?
About $1 million.
And how long ago was that?
2 years ago.
Do you think prices have fallen?
I don't think prices have fallen. What I think is happening is there are very few of these, and they're going into collectors' hands. In this marketplace, the rare, unusual, well-provenanced, well-paperwork cars that have been through the system and documented are bringing money just the way other great cars are bringing money. I don't think that the difference between this and another $100,000 would make that much difference to a person.
Do you think a dealer could have bought this car and could flip it?
I think a dealer did buy this car and flip it. Veloce, the person that sold this, is a dealer, in fact. It has had 8 or 9 owners. The thing about L88 cars, Keith, is we know where most of them are. There aren't surprises. And there's a long trail of documentation and ownership And so like GTO Ferrari, if you want one, there were 39 of them built. So you have to buy one that's known. There are going to be very few that come out of a barn.
When you're judging an L88 as an NCRS judge, are there some very unusual things that you look for?
Well, the L88 in 1967 and 1968 were cast iron blocks, 4-bolt main, but they had aluminum open chamber and closed chamber heads. They also, like most Chevrolets, certainly all Corvettes, most all Corvettes, there's an assembly code that is stamped onto the front of the motor that tells that where the motor was built, in this case Tonawanda, and the month and day the engine was assembled. There's also a number that shows when the casting was made. And to be able to match those numbers and make sure that the original stamping appears to be typical of factory production, we can guarantee pretty much that car has an original motor, or what it should have stamped on there also matches the same number stamping on the transmission, which is an M22 rock pressure Muncie.
Michael, if this were a perfect C3 with a 350 cubic inch motor, what would it be worth?
$80,000 maybe.
80,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is a substantial premium. Do you think it's worth the extra hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars?
I think it's really, there are so few, there have been 2 million Corvettes built. There's some that are rare and unusual. Ironically, 1969, they built 2 L88 ZL1s, maybe 3. That's $1 million, way easily $1 million, but they built 3 cars out of, I don't know, almost 40,000. And that's extremely rare.
Well,
So,
Michael, let me ask you. L88, $610,000. This is the SCM buy, sell, hold market alert. Do you rate that car as a buy at that price, as a sell at that price, or as a hold at that price?
I would buy it and hold it. I would buy it and hold it. I think it's got, like the Grand Sports, it's got great future value.
What's your 5-year prediction for the car?
$1.5 million.
$1.5 million. That's Michael Pierce, $1.5 million here on the Sports Car Market Buy, Sell, Hold. I'm Keith Martin, the publisher. Michael, thank you for joining me for this SCM Market Alert.
Thank you, Keith.